Man, it's been ages and a half since I've done one of these. Actually, it probably hasn't been more than a week, but considering that it was something I was planning on doing fairly frequently, I'm surprised it's taken this long. Let me just jump into... I forgot that there's all this promotional stuff, and I never checked out Aether Resort. But man, I'm just trying to find ways to stall for time while I'm actually talking about things. This has been way too long since I've actually done one of these. You know, I had to actually call in a few filming sessions, do my free draws on my own time, just cause I was afraid that if I didn't, I wouldn't have gotten around to it before the recording ended, which is a little bit of disappointment in of itself, but things are things. Why would I want to send a friend request to my own enemy? And it's kind of embarrassing, like I keep thinking like I'm gonna have... I spend like 8 hours working in an office going... Pretty much, my mind ends up wandering in the process, thinking about all sorts of things. I pretty much come up with all these commentaries for all this stuff in my head as I'm working, but by the time I get home, memory of a goldfish kicks in and I just like, boop, forget it all. That's the one thing in my mind I want to talk about. Wasn't related to YouTubers in general. I don't know exactly why, but if I had this thing where I've always been hesitant to plug people, I mean, there are some exceptions like that very end of the Mega Man X playthrough where I just like plug every single podcast I listen to, but it did kind of fit the theme. But like I watch a lot of YouTube stuff, and by watching I mean like I download 5 hours worth of videos via YouTube Red and listen to those as I work away, doing pretty much mind-numbing work that would get old after a while without it. But at the same time, like the fact that I am able to have headphones on for a job like this is a luxury in and of itself, to the point where it makes it kind of hard to find something better. The whole job searching scene and all that. Honestly, like the job I work at is pretty nice overall. I'm not doing anything that's like a dream job or anything. And I'll admit, like, I could definitely challenge myself more, but it's when you've worked at Kmart for 2 years, this seems like a luxury in comparison. Especially when I was really had a lot of stuff with my back that wasn't addressed until afterwards. So like I had to work at Kmart with an sore back, and that was just not a healthy combination. So I'm glad I alleviated those two things. And I'll probably save the Kmart stories from another time. But the point being, like, YouTube. I watch a lot of people on YouTube. Even if I don't actually watch them, and more so listen to them. It kind of makes my whole viewing experience pretty unique compared to the average viewer, to be honest, because, like, there's tons of Pokemon Go content on YouTube, but there isn't as much stuff that I can really get into via YouTube relating to Pokemon Go, because so much of the YouTube content, especially with the big content producers, is based on like vlogs. They're all vlogs. From what I've seen, very beautiful stuff. You get to see all these sorts of locations in that, assuming you're actually watching and not listening like I am. I'll admit, like, it's been hard for me to find YouTube content, and probably why I just find myself more appealed towards the whole podcast scene, just because like, the only times I really get to watch YouTube is either when I'm working on other videos in the background, which is in the background, so like I wouldn't be able to just sit down and watch it completely. I would prefer something the focus was on listening to rather than watching with my eyes and all that. And the other exception would be, man, I went for that Aether a lot quicker than I thought I would. But I do need to do stuff with the Voting Gauntlet anyways. And I actually got some stuff this episode, because that's the reason I wanted to do recording of Fire Emblem Heroes, of all things. But as I was saying, I'm more lenient towards the podcast scene just because it fits the way I consume content a whole lot better. And, you know, maybe I should... It's got me wondering if I should actually, like, try to push the podcast scene more myself, because, like, if anyone knows what the audience of that sort of thing would be like, it would be myself. Maybe that's a little bit too egotistical, I'm thinking. Because I'm just thinking, like, I am listening to more stuff than I'm watching, so I feel like someone who prefers listening to stuff, I would know the mindset of someone who prefers listening to stuff over watching. But man, I actually had a point with all this, and I got sidetracked all the way. Like, my point was, I'm gonna try to resolve to actually mention people I watch by name more often. It's not like I'm trying to hide better content creators than myself, because honestly, you could find better content creators than myself just by Googling if you really wanted to so bad. Dang, I had the perfect way to describe it in my head while I was in the shower. But of course, memory of goldfish kicks in. I could only find something long enough to stall for time while I think about this. Yeah, it's... Maybe I'll just listen to the music for a little bit while I collect my thoughts, because otherwise this is never getting out. So I think part of the appeal, or part of the unappeal of just mentioning everyone as they come to mind when I'm making conversations. One, the Venn diagram, I just don't want to cause confusion by forcing my audience between the Venn diagram of people who like my content and people who like all the content of everyone I watch. I don't expect everyone to get every single reference to every single thing I make. That's the main thing. There's a second reason. Oh yeah, I guess I just don't want to come off like I'm just chilling. What's the slang that I'm thinking of? Chill? Not chill as in cold, but chill like chill. I think like an abbreviation of cell hour or something like that. But I want my commentary to be original, not just plugging everything. But I think I was able to do it that one time in Mega Man X. So if I was able to do it then, I feel like I can like find appropriate places to talk about that stuff. Especially on a series like this where it's all about me just like talking about my day. And how all that is going. Now we're finally getting caught back up on the tangent train. And the whole reason, like almost 10 minutes in, that I brought all this up was I really watched some really hype content today. Like, I'm not sure those of you who are familiar with Alfred and the content that he does on the side channel and that, but that was a thing that I finally got around to listening to today. And while I don't know, the whole episode, the first half, definitely has its appeal. Maybe not to me personally, but man, that second half of this one particular video was nuts. Like, I think like the one thing that really hit home was part when he was like, talking to his friends about how people come up and approach him about saying like, wow, you must have gotten really lucky in order to be able to be as successful as you are. And then I was like, dude, I've been doing this for a century and only getting paid for the second half of it. I mean, like, just the fact that he's done content for so long. And honestly, that's a little bit encouraging to me, because, like, I definitely don't seem like it, but I've been doing online content. I've been doing the YouTube stuff and the gameplay commentaries for a very, very, very long time. Like, to an embarrassing amount. Like, point where, like, you would think that if I was actually trying, now you have way more views and way more subscribers than they actually have. And they should never have a day where I get 0 views on a video, but yet here we are. Not really being sure if I'm actually even talking to anyone at the moment, but it's a thing that's there. I don't know, there's just something encouraging about saying, like, you can go so long without being recognized. Like, even the famous people gone a long time without ever being recognized for their work, and finally making it. That kind of just gave me a second wind of encouragement to just keep on going. And speaking of content that just kept me inspired to going, man, I was just like really. Another thing that really got me psyched. I just can't remember exactly what, but it was probably stuff on the Lure Up podcast, because that was the only Pokemon Go podcast I was listening to. Whatever it was, though, something really just gave me inspiration to just really plan out this whole entire Friday night show with Pokemon Go. Granted, that particular, all the ideas for that kind of just spurred away as the day went on, so I doubt I'm actually going to do anything with that, but it's at least giving me a bit of inspiration to actually try to do something consistently for Pokemon Go on Friday. Like, I'm thinking like I could take advantage of the fact that I work best when I make things in advance. That's part of the reason why I wanted to, like, make a backlog of Pokemon Go podcasts, and try to work around it by making, like, all these editorials where I talk about my feelings of events that have already happened, and ideas in general of how to improve the game in the future. Because that stuff's a lot less likely to get outdated than the news. Oh yeah, I think one thing in particular on that Lured Up podcast that really gave me the inspiration was all the reminders about just how, like, there's no... I want to word it differently than the way I was saying it, but the point being is... Great, now I gotta resist the urge to just, like, stop what I'm doing and record. Because part of the issue I have just with the recording setup is, like, I've gotten so used to, like, doing podcasts and post commentary stuff that whenever I stutter too much or just have a big long pause, my first instinct is to hit the stop button and re-record it, and that doesn't work for live commentary stuff. And you must be a bit rusty on the live commentary end if my first reaction while doing live commentary is to go, oh, stop, reset. You definitely don't have to resync the video or anything, you can just stop and go back to it. What was I saying? Lured Up podcast inspiration. Oh yeah, just the fact that I think they mentioned it on the roundtable, but it was also mentioned on the podcast as reference to the roundtable. That basically gave me the moral that it's okay if you don't want to talk about the news in Pokemon Go, because so many other content creators are doing it. They're definitely going to do it faster than me, and especially the big YouTubers that work directly with Niantic, they're getting the news before we even hear about it, so they have their videos ready to go before it's even announced. Which is fine with me, because it allows me to actually focus on things that I actually want to do. I don't have to do the news just because every other podcast does the news. Gives me a little bit of inspiration in that sort of sense. So, I probably should have gone into summoning sooner, because I'm already stumbling around things to say. And speaking of stumbling, I just don't know where I'm gonna fit the time to do things lately. Why did that bow user did not go after the guy who was weak against bows? I do not know, but I do appreciate it. And it's probably going to allow me to save this grinding session completely. So anything else I want to talk about before going into the summoning sessions? Yeah, lately's been pretty busy. Like, I'll admit, when Adventure Week first came out, I thought I actually have a little bit of spare time to actually like organize my first Silpharina Cup. I've gone to them in the past, but I never actually organized one, and it feels like I'd be a lot more efficient to actually organize them than go them, just because of how far away they are. But that requires time and dedication. What doesn't require time and dedication is to go through all these freebie summons, as I'm already talking about things anyways. Oh, I definitely gotta go for Kotalist, because I have not gotten the Bridal Lyn yet. And Lyn, as I probably stated in the past, is one of my favorite characters from the Fire Emblem series, so I do want to get one of each of the costumes they get for her eventually. It's kind of sad because I don't even have the original Lyn yet. I have a few of the alternative forms of her, but not the original. That's pretty nuts in of itself. But yeah, how busy I'm gonna be this weekend. Like, last weekend was pretty much like Memorial Day weekend, but with one less day, where I tried to get stuff done, but I also had to help around the house a bit more than usual. Oh shoot, I wasn't paying attention. I think Snowflake is in blue, and now this said I think I would want Snowflake the most. That's my nickname for those who haven't been following this series closely. You know, the snow character. I'll point out her face when we actually go out here and take a look, because it probably is. Oh good, she's actually colorless, so that wasn't a complete waste. Yeah, so I guess one, I was actually out for 2 EX raids in Pokemon Go. First EX raids I've done since normal form Deoxys, so I missed out on Attacks Deoxys completely, and man, that just reminded me of a really salty story to tell. Oh man, the salt is just pouring out. So, it's been a long time since I've done EX raids, so you know how you can't trade mythical Pokemon? And in the past, before mythical Pokemon showed up in raids and were exclusive to special research, you couldn't really transfer them either? Well, when they put Deoxys in EX raids, they did make it so you could transfer it, but I kinda forgot that you couldn't trade for it either, so I thought it was like, okay, I missed out on pretty much the best form of Deoxys in Pokemon Go. But it's okay, I'm sure someone who's actually done the attack form Deoxys raids would be able to trade me one. So I go and I've completed my second raid. Like, that's the other thing, like, I was a little bit on, I'll admit, I probably was on edge, if only subconsciously, of the time I was wasting, because I did 2 EX raids in one day. Because there was the one that I actually won the invite for, and one that a friend invited me for. And I decided to do them both, for some reason, even though I don't think I ever use a defense form of Deoxys. Ever. And it was a good excuse to get out with the Pokemon Go crowd. Like, it's a good community, my local area and all that. And there's friends I only really meet up with when I'm actually doing Pokemon Go, so it all pans out. I guess I'll do one more here, because this is going away sooner. So yeah, you may realize where this story's going. I tried to do a trade. We weren't able to do the trade, and man, I got freaking salty. Like, I was just thinking, like, why the heck did I even bother to do all these raids when I could be working on stuff at home or walking. Yeah, that's the interesting. I was almost gonna hit 50 kilometers in Pokemon Go for Adventure Sync and all that. And I didn't really get a chance to walk that Sunday because I was out doing EX raids. So I could have probably skipped out on one of those EX raids, done some walking, and maybe hit my 50k. Salt, 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 pepper and salt. Salt, 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 and vinegar too. Yeah, salt's just so real. The good thing is, at least it wasn't the week where we pretty much got a super bonus for hitting 50 kilometers in Pokemon Go. That's this week, so I'm gonna do everything I can to actually make sure I actually hit that 50 kilometers this week, because I don't know if you still get the Pokeball, Great Balls, and Ultra Balls, but they've confirmed that there's a special reward, because this is Adventure Week, regarding Adventure Sync. And that is if you walk 50 kilometers in the week. Not only the... maybe this is... They said... they basically said your reward is 50,000 Stardust. Half of 100,000 Stardust. Half the cost of teaching a second move to a legendary Pokemon. And who knows how many Pokemon you could power up with that 50k by itself. And 25 for candies, when you usually at most get like maybe 2, 3, 5, I forget the amount you get from Adventure Sync. I just know that it's freaking small. Man, oh, I really want that stuff. I got plenty of Orb Spears, but I'm getting a bit discouraged, so I think I'm gonna go over here and see if I can get Snowflake. I keep forgetting to point out who I'm actually referring to as Snowflake. Maybe we'll actually get her from this orb and I can just freak out and show you. Nah. Nope. And I'm gonna have to get rid of a bunch of these heroes. Her. Oh, she looks so adorable with that dress. So let's go again. See if there's... At least we keep getting at least one colorless in here, so it doesn't feel like my orbs are going completely to waste. Man, like, the stockpile of orbs I have should be enough a testament in of itself of how nuts things have been lately. And actually, like... I was getting tangent to walking, because... Back to the walking thing, because... I actually walked after I got home on the treadmill today. I've actually walked twice in a row. Not for an hour like I usually do, but doing it 2 days in a row is still a bit of an improvement. And I've discovered a trick to get a bit more steps out of my walking. You see, this treadmill has an incline option, and I've noticed when if I turn down the incline, I can walk faster and get more mileage without getting tired and having to like pop down the mileage after all. Is that cheating? Well, maybe, but I don't... Considering the fact that if I'm walking normally outside, I pretty much be working with a 0-degree incline 90% of the time. I think like lowering down the incline on my treadmill down to like maybe... I forget how low it is now. Maybe like 5 or 4 compared to whatever it was before. It's still working a bit more for the quote-unquote easy steps in comparison to just walking for that long outside. And like, it feels like I walk faster when I'm on the treadmill than just walking outside, because I'm just taking things more casually, so I can get more steps in a shorter amount of time. It's not really cheating, because I could probably get a similar amount of steps if I actually kept up a pace and wasn't like stopping to smell the roses or catch the Pokemon along the way. Man, I said I was gonna lower this down to like a... I told myself I had to start making these Game and Chill sessions 20 minutes instead of half an hour, because I actually want to build a backlog. And I'm kind of feeling at that. Well, I think that's a good place to end off anyways. if I record another one right after this, we can probably continue any stories I had in mind. Otherwise, I'm sure by the next time I record, there'll be other stories to tell. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope to see you all for some more gaming and chilling. I know it's at least chill for me, so I apologize if like some of these have been more rant heavy and not been as chill for you. I'm working on that. This has definitely been one of my more high energy recordings just because I got off the treadmill in the shower not too long ago. But at least I wasn't spending the whole time ranting. Take care. Hey, I just wanted to record a quick post-mortem for the last Game and Chill that I uploaded. Because honestly, I don't know, for some reason I felt that it was a complete mess. And there was something I really wanted to make sure I corrected before going onwards into the next recording. Long story short, I felt real bad. I need to have some ease of mind regarding what I was saying about why my Sunday sucked. I felt like I left too much of an impression that I only felt that my Sunday sucked because I couldn't do one single trade in Pokemon Go. No, there's much more to it. I guess there's the time constraint stuff that I was talking about before. However, there was a bit of personal stuff going around home. I'm not gonna lie, even though I want to keep a lot of family matters to myself. It's been a bit rocky at times. It's not even a lot of what my relationship with people are, but just interactions that kind of forced to be around as long as I'm stuck living at home. That's all I'm really gonna say about that. Anything else I wanted to mention? Yeah, I guess Saturday was a little weird too, because I was trying to make the most out of my Saturday, but the only thing I can remember is I went out wanting to go for a walk, but didn't really feel like walking once I actually got over there. I think I was gonna go walk at like a park that's nearby the community day area I usually go to. But it's also a very common graduation area, and we're in that graduation season. So I saw all the cars going out of the park, not necessarily even going into the park. I was like, nope, not dealing with that. Okay. I woke up early, so I thought I actually have the time to record this post-mortem without eating into my schedule. So I should wrap this off before it eats up to my schedule. It's just a bit of a shame, like, I stayed up late recording commentaries in general. I went right from this recording session into trying to get some podcast recording done. And I was up to like 10:15 after that, and didn't get to bed until at least 10:30. But I did get my shower beforehand, so I thought, well, at least I can like make up a little bit of that time by sleeping in, because I don't need to take the time aside for as much of the morning ritual. But then my body's like, nope, instead of sleeping in 10 extra minutes, how about we wake up 10 extra minutes? So hopefully at least doing this will justify me being a bit more tired than usual. I got to get to bed earlier and start sleeping, because sleeping in just doesn't work out for me. Okay, for real. I think I'm out A for the grind out the A for rate anyways. Take care. Hopefully this doesn't sound too bad because I'm recording it right from my phone.